This meeting is being recorded. So the first thing I wanted to go over, I saw people having problems with circles. So I just want to make sure you're going to get an area and circumference of a circle. Okay. So I want to make sure we know the basics, how to figure out the circumference, how to figure out the area. But then I also want to go over if they give you the area or if they give you the circumference of a circle. So I just want to go over that. So for example, let's look at number one. Let's just do with number one. If we're looking at number one, and give me the line segment that would correspond to the radius for number one.
E and H.
EH, right. EH, it also could be what? What else besides EH? What else could it also be for the radius?
The radius is H and G.
E and G. Okay, E and G. What else?
Couldn't it be H, F, and G?
H, F, and G? No, no. You need two points for a line segment. E and F. So that's the three possibilities for radius here. EH, EG, or EF. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, good. How about for the diameter? How about for the diameter?
G and H.
H and
G to H. Mm-hmm.
It could go either way, H or G and H, right?
Right. H or G and H. Does not matter. So that's the diameter. So what you should notice is that the diameter is always larger than the radius, but it's a ratio. How much bigger it is. Does anybody know how much bigger the diameter is than the radius?
It's half.
What's half? What's half?
Twice. It's twice.
The half of the diameter.
Right. So the radius is half the diameter, or the diameter is twice the radius. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So if the radius is 3 inches, and this for this number one, what's the diameter?
So F be one. If that F the equal from one side to the other, that'll be 6, right?
6 inches. So the diameter is one side to the other, 6 inches.
Right.
So it's double the radius. You don't have to worry about that. It's just double the radius. So if you know the radius, it's double that, 6 inches. Now, does anybody know, if you have your formula sheet available, does anybody know what's the formula to find the circumference?
Pi r squared.
Nope.
D pi.
D times pi. So the circumference has two formulas. D times pi or 2 pi r. If you notice, you can tell how big the comparison or the ratio between the radius and diameter, because pi is the same in each of these formulas. So 2r is equal to d, or twice the radius is equal to diameter. So d times pi. So what's d? What is our diameter from this question?
6 inches.
6. And what is pi?
On a formula sheet is 3.14.
3.14. So to find the diameter, all you're doing is multiplying diameter times pi, which is 3.14. And you would throw that in your calculator and you would get 18, 60, and 24, 16.84.
Right.
Okay. Does anybody know? So yes.
So that the one we just did is the formula C equals circumference equals diameter times pi, right?
Correct. Yes.
Now, what's the difference with doing the other way, where you got circumference?
There is. You tell me what's the difference.
Will it be just 2 times pi?
No. What does the formula say?
The circumference equals 2 pi r.
Okay. So 2
right
times 3.14. And what's the radius?
Oh, okay. I see it now. Okay.
What's the radius?
The radius is 3.
Okay, what's 3 times 2?
3 times 2 is 6.
So did we get the same exact thing?
Right. Okay.
You just decide which formula you're going to use, which one, it doesn't matter which one you use.
Write that down.
So for example, if they give you the practice test or on the real test, if they give you the radius, then you're going to use the second formula. If they give you the diameter, you use the first formula. Got me?
I'd use the second formula.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. Does anybody know the formula to find the area of a circle?
To find the area of the circle, or what that was,
Pi r squared.
Pi r squared.
Right.
So again, what you should be noticing is all these formulas are available on your formula sheet. Once you're used to using your formula sheet, all you're doing is plugging in. So pi r squared. What's pi?
3.14.
3.14. What's the radius?
The radius will be 3.
3, and then we're going to square it. There we go. And we plug that into our calculator. So for both of these, all we're going to do is once you identify the formula and identify what's given and what you know, you just plug them in the calculator. So 6 times 3.14 is going to give me my circumference, and then pi r squared, 3.14 times 3 squared. It give you my area, 28.26. Now, the only difference is very important. This would be inches. Your area is either inches squared or square inches.
Okay.
Hey, everybody should be familiar with how to solve the area and circumference of a circle. But guess what? That's not how they're going to give it to you. That's not how they're going to give it to you. So let me show you how, and I'm going to prove it to you. Most missed questions. Look at this. One of the most missed questions is find, oops, let me move this over so we can see it. Compute the area and circumference of circles. That's what we just did. But again, this is a list of the most missed questions. Find the radius or diameter when given the area or circumference. That's the question that's mostly missed on the GED. So if it's a most missed question, you have to be prepared to answer that question. So let's look at some examples. Okay, let's look at some examples. Let me try to find it. I thought I opened it. There we go. Let's look at some examples. All right, let's look at, C equal 12.56. What does C stand for when we're talking about a circle?
Circumference.
Circumference. Okay, so now what is the formula for circumference?
C equals D pi.
Or what?
Or C equals 2 pi r.
Okay, so remember.
Excuse me, guys. Another question, Mr. Tinsley.
Yes.
Will this sheet? You said the sheet will be on the GED test, right? They'll let you add it.
Yeah. So what you have to do is, if you're taking it from home, it's going to be online. You'll be able to open it up online. If you take it in person, okay, this is what you have to do for your testing center, wherever you test it. Call them first and ask them, will they give you the formula sheet?
Okay.
I would prefer you have the formula sheet right next to you instead of trying to open it up and still do the problems and close it. So you call your testing center and you ask one or two things. Do you give out the formula sheet, or can I bring my own?
Okay.
Some testing sites will let you bring your own formula sheet, but it can't have any writing or anything on it. Okay, so that's what I would ask. I would call my testing center and ask them, do you give out the formula sheet, or can I bring my own? Okay, so we have our two formulas for the circumference. What do you think I'm going to do if I know the circumference is 12.56? What can I do to find the radius, diameter, and the area? What do you think I can do?
Okay,
you know the what you can do, the 12.56 divided by 2, and that will give you the radius.
Give you the radius? Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. So what she said was substitute 12.56 as the circumference. So 12.56 is equal to 2 pi r. Then she said divide by 2. Is that what you said?
I think
So
so.
divide
So you said,
12.56.
so you divide by 2, right? You'll get 6.28 equal the 2's cancel pi times r. Did that give you your radius? Does it say r equal?
No.
No. So how can I get r or the radius by itself? What do I need to do? How can I get the r by itself? What do I need to do?
Pi divided by pi. Whatever you
Divided
do
by
on
pi. So
you
divide
do-
by pi, and whatever you're doing on one side, you do on the other. The two
Yeah,
pi's
divide
cancel.
Yes.
R is equal to 6.28 divided by 3.14. You should see that's 2. If you don't, you could throw it in your calculator. So my radius is 2. Does everybody understand where Darlene started? What she did was, since we were given a circumference, that's the formula she used. And then she plugged in what's given. So she plugged in the circumference, and then she solved for R. So R is equal to 2 feet. Okay, if we know the radius is 2 feet, what's the diameter?
Excuse me. The radius is 2. So that's the diameter is top 2 times that, so it's 4.
4.
Right, 4 feet. If we know the radius is 2 feet, how do we find the area?
You find the area. You find the area is pi r square.
Pi r squared. Do we know what pi is?
3.14.
Do we know what the radius is?
2 feet.
And we're going to square that. So we multiply, and we get the area. That's 12, 40, and 16. So 12.56 feet squared. So the circumference and the area are the same thing. Understand what we did. And this, again, this is one of the most missed questions on your exam. So you have to be prepared that if they give you the circumference, to either figure out what the radius is, figure out what the diameter is, figure out what the area is. They're going to ask you one of those. They're not going to ask you all 3. This exercise has you do all 3 so you can be prepared for any question that they give you. Now, Darlene, that was 100% right. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it that way. But you're right. You can do it. Anybody who, if you understand it, you can do it that way. But let me show you the formula I would have used. So, hold on, I got a message. Okay, thank you, Latasha. So this is the form I would, so now we still got 2, 4, and 12.56. Now let's see if we get the same thing. So let me save this and let me clear it out. Let me clear it out. I would have used this formula. C equal D times pi. Why? Because I only have one thing that I don't know, and that's D. So for example, instead of dividing by 2r, dividing by 2 and then dividing by pi, here to solve for the diameter, I just divide by pi. I know what the circumference is, 12.56. I know what pi is, 3.14. The pi's cancel, and that's my D. So right away, I know my D, or my diameter is 4. Doesn't matter which way you do it. Each way is just as effective. But here you only got to do one step. So if my diameter is 4, what's my radius?
Your radius is 2.
It's 2. And then you just plug whatever you know into the area formula. So pi r squared. If you notice, I keep writing the formulas. Why do you think I keep writing the formulas? Don't you think Mr. Tisley knows the formulas? Why do you think I keep writing the formulas?
To memorize it.
Right, so you get used to it, so you won't have to look at your formula sheet when you do it. If I'm telling you these are the most missed questions, they are going to be on your exam. So it will behoove you and be advantageous for you to know the formulas that you know that's going to be on the exam. So you won't have to be trying to find a formula or getting your formula sheet out or getting all nervous. You'll know it. So every time they're using the formula, write it down, say it out loud. And the more you do that, you'll notice that you will remember these formulas much easier. All right, so let's look at another problem. Now I gave you a diagram this way. Now I'm gonna show you in words. Here we go. So what I want everyone to do, let's see if we can do this together. I want everyone to do number 5. And I want you to tell me what the diameter is. Oops, I'm sorry. What the radius is, what the diameter is in the area for number 5. So this is C is equal to 37.68 inches. So the circumference is 37.68. I want you to find the radius, diameter, and the area. And I want you to send them to me in the chat. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes. You can use your calculator. You can use your calculator. The circumference of a circle is 37.68 inches. What is the radius? What is the diameter? And what is the area? I'm asking you 3 different things. Oh, that's a shame. So Latasha, Natasha, didn't I? You
Yes,
still there?
yes.
After class, talk to me. I'm gonna because you sent me your scores. I want the score report so I can know what you got right and what you got wrong.
Okay,
Okay, the score report, not just scores.
okay.
So the circumference is 37.68. I want to know the radius, diameter in the area. If you get anybody who gets the answer within 2 minutes, right? I will pay. I will pay for your next exam. Oh, that was a fast 2 minutes. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm glad because it's like the only kid. But no, seriously. The circumference is 37.68. Okay, I see the area. So make sure you give me the radius and the diameter, Brandy. I see your message for the area. I don't even know what the answer is. So I'm gonna have to, I don't know if it's right or wrong because I haven't done it. Let me check it. I'll check it right now. Let me grab my calculator. Circumference, bam, 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 bam. Okay, bam, bam, bam. Okay, bam, boom. Okay. Oh,
I probably got it that way.
No. Your answer is so close. I think you might have typed something incorrectly on your calculator. Your radius is correct. So that means your diameter had to be correct. but your area is a little off. You might have typed something incorrectly into the calculator.
All right, I'm sending you something.
Okay.
Let me see.
And Mr. Tinsley, I probably asked you this before. If I did, I apologize. But do you have a video specifically on calculator use? Because this is really my Achilles heel, is the calculator.
Right. So that's why when I tell purchase when they purchase the ebook to take two weeks out just to go over using the calculator.
Okay.
Alex, radius correct, diameter correct. I don't see where you gave me the area.
I'm sending you mine now.
Okay.
I think it's right there.
So the circumference is for the 3 people that just joined us, what we did was we're given the circumference and we need to figure out what the radius is, diameter, and the area. Now, again, the exam is only going to ask you for one of these. What I'm doing is asking all 3. So if you're able to calculate all 3, you'll be prepared no matter what they give you on the exam. So that was 3 minutes.
So the circumference is.
So Brandy, I'm going to give you correct. I'm going to give that to you correct. James, your diameter is correct. Your radius is correct. Now give me the area.
I thought I was wrong. Oh, okay.
No, you're not wrong. You just didn't give me the area. Same for you, Alex. Give me the area.
All right. So.
And then I'm going to and we'll go over it in about 30 seconds.
Because can I say, like, I believe that the radius, sorry, is 5.99696, but I just did it.
Interesting.
That's what my
So what
calculator.
so what you did was you use pi. I'm gonna show you the difference of actually using pi in 3.14. I'm glad you did that. So I'll show you. So right. So on a GED, for most intents and purposes, they will tell you to use 3.14 as pi. But I'll show it to you in a minute. Okay. Good. Alex, much better. Looking good. Okay, let's go over this now. So again, we were given a circumference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this formula, pi times d. Why? Because I only got to do one thing in order to solve for the diameter. All I have to do to find the diameter is divide the circumference by the pi, by pi. Because if we divide by pi, and whatever we do on one side, we do on the other, the pi's cancel. So this is a formula that's not on your formula sheet, but this is the easiest way. So if they give you the circumference, you divide by pi to get the diameter. So 37.68 divided by 3.14 is equal to D. You should get 12 is equal to your diameter. So if you got 12 as your diameter, you were correct. So our diameter is 12 inches. If our diameter is 12 inches, what's our radius?
The radius is 6 inches.
6 inches, because we know the radius is half the diameter.
Right.
Okay. And now, since we know the radius now, we can just plug it into the formula from our formula sheet. Area equal pi r squared. Every time you use a formula, I want you to say it and write it. Pi r squared. So pi, which is 3.14. Our radius is 6, and we're going to square that. So that's 3.14 times 36. Now, this is how you would do this by hand. But again, we can use the calculator. So, let me move my, oops, what did I just do? Here we go. Let me put the calculator on the screen. Matter of fact, let me take a picture of this first. And then we'll say equal 113.04 inches squared or square inches. So that would be our answer. That would be our area. This would be our radius and diameter. You can almost bank on these questions. They're either going to ask you what the circumference of a circle is, what the area of a circle is, or if they give you the area or circumference, what's the radius, diameter. Okay, they're going to ask you that question. So the first thing I want you to do, if you don't have a good footing on this, is when you get this video tonight, walk through it. I'm also going to send this worksheet in the same email so you can practice. So if you do not understand it, in this worksheet that I'm going to send you, it details step by step how to do it, and you can practice it. Okay?
Okay.
So what you should see right away, if they give you circumference, so I'm gonna do this last one for you quickly on the calculator. Watch this, 361.1. So I know that in order to get the diameter, if they give me the circumference, all I need to get the diameter is to divide by pi. So I'm gonna do ND 361.1 divided by 3.14. That's my diameter. And in order to find my radius, I'm gonna divide by 2. And then in order to get my area, I'm gonna do 57.5 squared times 3.14. And that's all three within 20 to 30 seconds. If they give you the circumference on this exam of a circle to find a diameter, all you have to do is divide by pi. The circumference divided by pi, that'll give you diameter.
Okay.
Once I find a diameter, divide by 2 to get the radius, and then square it and multiply by pi to get your area. Okay? That's a nice, quick way, and they're going to give it to you. Okay? So I just wanted to show you that. Now, remember, one of the most missed questions is if they give you the circumference or if they give you the area. Okay, let's look at one where they give you the area. So it says area equal 254.34 square inches. So they gave us the area. So the first thing I'm going to do is I understand what's given. They gave me area of a circle. So I'm gonna go to my formula sheet and get the formula for the area of a circle. Can anybody tell me what that is?
Okay. Area of the circle.
A equal pi r squared.
Pi r squared. Now, I'm gonna do something for you though. I really want you to really understand this because, hold on for a second. Let me just do it real quick. NE 4.3434. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change this up a little bit, and I'm gonna say we want to find the radius, right? We want to find the radius, and I'm gonna give you 4 multiple choices. So I'm gonna say 6, 7, 8, and 9. So these are the multiple choices they give you. So if you're given that the area is 254.34, can somebody tell me the radius? So what I want you to do is I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. I'm gonna see if you can do it first. I want to see if when you've been joining me for GED Math Mondays, if there's another strategy that you can use without doing all the algebraic work. So I'm gonna see if someone can do that, see if you can do that first. So the area of a circle is 254.34 square inches. What's the radius? Is it 6, 7, 8, or 9? And I'm gonna give you 2 minutes just to see what you get. If you don't know it, that's fine. I want to see if you can still work the problem if you don't know it. Okay, 12 people in the building this evening.
And you said you want the radius?
I want the radius. That's for this question. I only want the radius, and then later on we'll find out what the diameter and the circumference is. But right now, I just want the radius.
You want to send it to you?
Yeah, in the chat. Give me the answer in the chat.
That's a long answer. We're going correct.
No, it's either A, B, C, or D. A is 6, B is 7, C is 8, D is 9. So either A, B, C, or D. What's the radius? A, B, C, or D? Somebody just texted me saying they're having problems getting in. Lakeisha, I'm not sure what the answer is right now, to tell you the truth. But
oh, I remember it now.
let me do it real quick.
Okay.
Alex, you sent the answer to everyone. Make sure you send the answer to me.
Oh, did I?
No, that was Alex.
Oh,
So Lakeisha, that's incorrect. Alex, I can't tell you whether yours is right or wrong because you sent the answer to everyone. Brandy, your answer is correct.
okay, you gotta show us then.
Okay. Now, say for example, you had no idea how to figure this problem out. What do you know about the multiple choice? How can we solve this problem without doing it algebraically? Can anybody tell me?
You plug the numbers in.
Yes, just plug them in. We know the formula for area of a circle. So let me grab my calculator for a second. And this is what I'm talking about. So sometimes we get all worked up about how to solve things algebraically. Sometimes it's just using common sense. So let me 6, 7, 8, or 9. Let me put the calculator on the screen. We get so caught up 254.34. 254.34. And let me make this a little bigger for you. Boom. Let's move this over. All right, I'm gonna move this down. Let me move this over. Area is 253.4. We can get rid of this. And then let me move this down.
Pi, right?
So what Darlene said was, why don't we just plug each one of them in? So what she meant by that is you just say area equal pi r squared. So we know what the area is. It's 254. So pi, the first answer is 6 squared. And I'm going to put 3.14 because pi is 3.14. Our second area will be 3.14 times 7 squared. 3.14 times 8 squared. And the last multiple choice answer they gave us is the radius is 9, 3.14 times 9 squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put each one of them in until we get 254.34. So 3.14 times 6 squared.
It's crazy.
Bam. Did we get 254.34? No, we did not. So again, now you don't have to write that entire formula back out. We can go use your calculator, go back up into the formula, hit enter, and now we're going to change that 6 to 7. Hit enter. We still didn't get it. Again, I'm gonna go back up into the formula, change that 7 to 8. Still not 254.34. Our last answer is 9, but I'm going to just do it anyway so you can see it done.
I was gonna pick 9. No, I was gonna throw
I
that
always
out.
kind of work backwards if I feel like it's a large number. And that's how I actually came up with the answer, was
Okay.
going back.
But look how long that would take you. That's not going to take you long at all.
Not at all.
Once you identify what the formula is, and they're giving you the answer to the question, plug each one of them in until you get your answer. Now, so that's how, if you don't know how to do it algebraically. So let me do it algebraically. Let me clear the screen first, and let me do it algebraically. Okay, so we can see it. So algebraically, I know my formula is area equal pi r squared. In order to solve for r, now this is how much work you have to do it algebraically. They give you the multiple choice, plug them in. In order to get R by itself, what do we need to do? What do we need to get rid of first? If we want to get R by itself.
You have
What-
to know the formula first.
Well, we know the formula, area equal pi R squared. So that's the formula. If we want to get R by itself, what do we need to get rid of?
Pi.
We got to get rid of pi first. So we're going to get, so now, how do we get rid of pi? Since
The
division.
area.
So we're going to divide both sides by pi. So we get area divided by pi is equal to R squared.
Right.
Is R by itself?
No.
How do I, what's the inverse operation of squaring something?
Square root.
Square root. So we're going to take the square root. Whatever we do to one side, we do on the other. So the square root of R squared is just R. And then we got the square root of area divided by pi. This is not in any GED manual. You will not see it anywhere. This is the easy way to solve for the radius if you're given the area.
Okay.
Now, let's grab the calculator. Now, first, I'm gonna do it right next to it so you'll see it. Let me clear everything. Let me clear everything out first. And I'll make it big so we can see it. So square root, we're gonna hit ND. The area was 254.34. And then pi is 3.14. So the radius is 9. Done.
Okay.
So if I'm telling you that you're going to see for a circle, you're going to either have to find a circumference or area, or you're going to have to either find the radius or diameter given the circumference or area. Those two formulas I would remember, or I would know. Now, if they ask for the diameter, what am I going to do to this 9?
Divided.
I divide it.
Times
Times about what?
2.
2. So my diameter is 18. If they wanted to find the circumference, I'm multiplying that by 3.14.
All right.
Quick, easy. It's almost a guaranteed problem in your exam. Okay, so let me save it. Let me clear it. And then let me maximize the calculator so you can see the things that we've done. Okay. So when you go back over this, you'll be able to see it. It's almost a guaranteed problem. So the first way I showed you is using the multiple choice to find your answer. Okay. Very important. The second way, we did it algebraically. Okay. Now, so that was area and circumference of a circle. Guaranteed problem that you're going to have on your exam. The next thing I wanted to go over. First of all, let me just give everybody a hand. All the people who logged in this week to Schoology and has been taking quizzes and practice tests. This is the most I've had in 1 week. I think I've had over 100 different quizzes taken in 1 week. Okay, so first of all, give you a hand. If you haven't been to Schoology to take some practice work, make sure you log in and start practicing. So the other thing I wanted to go over tonight So I had to mute somebody. So we talked about multiplying binomials. I gave you the practice sheet here so you can practice on your multiplying binomials. Again, this is another guaranteed problem. You will have to multiply binomials. So really quickly, let's just do one example before we go to factoring a quadratic equation. So everyone in the last 2 days who tried to factor a quadratic equation for the most intensive purposes got it incorrect. So I want to make sure we go over it. So for example, if I'm doing number 7, what am I going to multiply x minus 9 times x minus 5. What am I going to multiply first?
Oh, no,
X.
no,
Multiply
Say-
by
X.
X times x. What is x times x?
X squared.
X squared. And then what am I going to do next?
X multiplied by 5.
Nope. X times
Negative 5.
negative 5. What is negative 5 times x?
Negative
5.
Negative 5. Negative 5.
Negative 5x. And then what am I going to multiply?
Negative 9 and X.
Negative 9 times x. And then last, I'm going to multiply what?
Positive 49. 9 multiplied
no.
by 5.
Negative 9 times negative 5. What is negative 9 times negative 5?
Positive 45.
Positive 45. Do I have any like terms that I can combine?
Yes.
Yes.
What is
5x and
minus
9x.
5x and minus 9x?
4x.
Nope.
Negative 4x.
Negative
Negative
14.
Negative
14x.
14x. So listen, what I saw, the biggest mistake that I saw people do on the practice quizzes was minus 5, minus 9. People put positive 4, negative 4. Listen, you grab your calculator. Don't let sign numbers be your downfall. You have a calculator that you can use. Watch this. Minus 5, minus 9. You should never get a term right. What you have to understand is once you understand that they are like terms, that they share the variable x, you can combine the coefficients of the numbers in front of the variable. Minus 5 and minus 9. So minus 5 minus 9 is minus 14. So if we multiplied x minus 9 times x minus 5, we would get x squared minus 14x plus 45. That would be your answer. Yes, James.
I'll go back over. This was something I got sheets on. I gotta go back over that. I'll go back over that.
Okay, so everybody has this worksheet. You can practice. This is another guarantee. You're going to have to multiply.
I don't
by
have
numbers. This is a guaranteed
specific
problem.
one though. I don't have this.
I'll send it to you.
I got some stuff at Comm Academy, but I don't have.
I'll send it to you. I'll send you this exact one. But
Okay.
this is where listen, listen to what I'm telling you. You're going to have to multiply binomials. So you must be prepared.
That's
Okay,
probably-
so now
that for a while.
we went over that. We already went over that. So
I
if
know
you're
we
new,
did. I just keep.
Okay. Now I'm talking about in class in general. So now I want to show you how to factor a quadratic equation. So first of all, what is a quadratic equation anyway? How do I know when to use this? What is a quadratic equation? How can I tell that something is a quadratic equation?
when something is square.
Something is square. So when we look at these, if you notice, look at that. Oops, let me use red. Let me go back to red. This what tells you, because the highest degree in each of these is to the second power or squared. So 2x squared, 5x squared, minus 7x squared. If the highest degree of your variable is squared, that's a quadratic formula. Quadratic equation. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so let me show you how to factor a quadratic equation. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Now, if you get multiple choice, you should be able to use the multiple choice to figure out that problem. But I'm gonna show you how to factor. So I'm going to use this one here, 23. X squared minus 12x plus 36. Oops, plus 36. I'm gonna show everyone how to factor this right now. Let me go to my blank page. There we go. X squared minus 12x plus 36. And I forgot the x. Why did my blank page open up?
It goes after the 12, the X.
I don't know. Why is my blank page not open up? Interesting. Wow. Hold on. My computer's doing something funky. I think there we go. Let me try. Let me see if I can get it first. Hold on. Why is it not opening up here? Where's my blank page? Why are you not opening up? I need you. There we go. All right, so x squared minus 12x plus 36. Can anybody tell me the standard form of a quadratic equation? Can anybody tell me the standard form of a quadratic equation?
The combining like term first, or
Nope.
It's
What's the standard form? Ax squared
plus
equal B.
B,
by
B what?
B
B what?
plus.
Nope.
Two.
B what?
BX.
Bx
Oops.
plus c
Plus.
is equal to 0. This is the standard form of a quadratic equation. You must be familiar with it. You must be.
it almost looked like the linear, not the standard form on the linear equation, ax plus by equals c.
A little bit. Mhm. But if you notice on a linear equation, your variable's only to the first power. So that's the differences. A linear equation, the highest degree is the first power. For a quadratic equation, your highest degree is the second power.
أعطيني التليفون ديالك.
So x squared minus 12x plus 36. So what would a be with this quadratic equation? What is the coefficient in front of your x squared? What's a?
1.
1. Does everybody understand that? That if you don't see a coefficient, it is
It's
1.
one. Yeah.
Right.
What is b?
B1,
B
B.
is also 1. There's no number there.
Oh, yes, it is.
12.
Negative 12. Remember, b is what's in front of the x. So your b is negative 12. And what's c?
30, positive 36.
Positive 36. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
So what I'm about to show you is how to factor quadratic equation when a is equal to 1. This does not work when you have 2x squared or 3x squared or 4x squared. It only works for x squared, p squared, t squared when a is equal to 1. Does everybody understand that?
Yep.
Okay. Now, if a is 1 for your quadratic equation, I want you to find the factor pairs for c. What are the factor pairs of positive 36? What two numbers can I multiply together that's going to give me 36? And we're going to start with 1.
6.
1
We're going to
36.
start with 1.
1
1 times 36.
1 times 36. 2 times
6 times 6.
no, 2 times
2 times 12.
nope.
Duh.
4.
2 times what? It's going to give you
It's 3
36.
times, 3 times. Oh,
2
shoot.
times 18 is going to give
2
you
times
36.
18.
2 times 18. 3 does 3 goes into 36? Yes, it does. 3 times what?
12,
12. Does 4 go into 36? Yes, it does. 4 times what?
8,
Nope.
9.
9. So 5 doesn't go into 36. 7 doesn't go into 36. 8 doesn't go into 36. And then 9, right? So 9 goes. So we've already had 9 down. So that's how we know when to stop. This is important for you to understand. This is why the first thing I go over in my class, if you were a student in my physical class, the first thing I told my students, you got to know your multiplication tables. So you shouldn't be able to do 136, 218, 312, 49, just like that. If you can't, you need to practice your multiplication tables.
How about
Because
6
if you
How about 6
if you
times
spend, oops, you're right. 6 times 6. Yep. 6 times 6.
36.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs. On the other side, we're going to change the signs of both numbers. So instead of 1, we're going to have -1. Instead of 36, we're going to have negative 36. Why? Because 2 negatives, if you multiply 2 negatives, you will also get a positive. So -2 and -18, -3 and -12, -4 and -9, and -6 and -6. Okay, Mr. Tinsley, wow, that's a whole lot of work to find. Now, what I'm going to tell you is on the GED, they're not going to give you 36. They're not going to give you 48. They're not going to give you 96. They're going to give you a nice small number. So if you're able to do these quickly and understand it, and again, we can use that worksheet to practice. When they tell you to factor quadratic equation, you'll be ready to go. Watch this. Now, B is -12. Which pair of all these pairs, I have 10 pairs. Which pair would give me -12?
3.
-3. -12.
12.
Nope. Which pair, when you combine those pairs together, will give you -12?
So this is multiplying, right?
No. What does combining mean? Do you when I tell you to combine like terms, are you multiplying?
Oh, you talking about the top? Okay, combine like terms.
So what's 1 and 36?
4 and 9.
What's 1 and 36?
1, 2, 1 and 36 is 37.
It's 37, right? What's 2 and 18?
20.
Okay. Now, first of all, what you should recognize, if I'm trying to get -12, I don't have to look at this side at all.
So it's -6 and
Because
-6.
they're both positive.
Right.
So I know I have to look at the left side. So I don't know who said -6 and -6, but you are correct. -6 and -6 make -12. So how would you factor this quadratic equation? When you take these pairs, you just do x minus 6, x minus 6. So this -6 goes right there. That's all you got to do to factor. Once you find your factor pairs,
Same signs are positive, right?
this is factor. This is how you factor a quadratic equation. Now, two questions they can ask you for a quadratic equation. They can ask you to factor it, or they can ask you to solve it. If they ask you to solve it, you must find the zeros. What that means is what value of x would make each one of those 0. So what's the opposite of -6?
Positive.
So this has one solution. So a quadratic equation can have up to 2 solutions. But this quadratic equation only has one solution, +6. Why? Because the other 0 is also +6. This is how you factor a quadratic equation. If A is 1, you find the factor pairs of C. You look at those factor pairs and see what factor pairs are going to combine to give you B. Okay, so let me save this and let's try another one. Boom. Let me go back to that. Let's see. Oh, I closed it up.
So it's x -6, x -6, or that was the answer.
So x minus 6 times x minus 6, that's factored. If I want to find the solutions or what solve this quadratic equation, I got to find a 0. So the opposite of -6 is +6. Or the opposite of -6 over here is also +6. So that's why you only have one solution, because +6 is only one number. So I'm gonna make up one. I'm not even gonna look at the sheet. I'm just gonna make up one. X squared, let's see, plus 2x minus 15. Okay. So first of all, is this a quadratic equation?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, it is. How do you know it's a quadratic equation?
Square.
Because it's squared. Okay. So what's A in
It's
this
1.
quadratic equation? Is 1. B is what?
+2.
Positive
2. C is what?
-15.
-15. So what I told you was, if A is equal to 1, I want you to factor -15. Find the factor pairs of -15. So I always tell my students, start with 1 and just go up. Don't just think of the first 2 numbers that multiply to 15, because you might miss something. So 1 times what is going to give me -15?
-1 and 15. Positive
Negative
15.
1 and -15. Can 2 go into 15?
No.
No. Can 3 go into 15?
Yes.
How many, what do I have to multiply 3 by to get negative 15?
Negative 5.
Negative 5. Can 4 go into 15?
No.
No.
Can 5 go into negative 15?
Yes. 3.
Yes.
Okay, so we already chose 5 already, so we don't have to do 5. We're done. Let's go on the other side. Let's reverse the signs. The opposite of +1 is?
Positive 1.
The opposite of +1 is?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. The opposite of -15 is?
15.
15.
Negative.
The opposite of -15 is
Positive.
15.
Positive.
Okay.
The opposite of +3 is?
Negative 3.
And the opposite of -5 is?
Positive.
5.
Positive.
Positive 5. If you notice, when I said +5, did I write the plus sign?
Mm-mm.
Do I have to write the plus sign?
No.
No.
Could I have written the plus sign?
Yes.
Yes. But if you know that a number is positive, you don't need the plus sign. So I have 4 pairs here. So my question to you is, which pair, when I combine them, is going to give me a +2?
Negative 3 and positive 5.
Negative 3 and +5. So I now have my factor pairs. If I want to factor this quadratic equation, what am I going to write?
X.
X plus negative
Nope.
3.
Nope.
No, negative 3. Multiply by
X.
negative 3.
Right. X minus 3, and then what?
X plus 5.
X plus 5. So this, whatever pair you find is what goes in these parentheses. So now we want to, so if we wanted to solve this quadratic equation, if we want to find the zeros, what's the opposite of -3?
3.
3.
3. And this time I wrote the plus. Does it matter?
No.
No, it does not. What's the opposite of +5?
Negative 5.
-5. What you start to notice is when you find your factor pairs, you can easily solve it. Just take the opposites. The opposite of -3 is +3. The opposite of +5 is -5. Those are easier. So this would be the solutions.
Your answer is
This would be factored. They can ask you either one. You have to be prepared. Okay. Now, what
the
we're
answer
going
be
to
positive. So the solution to it, that's like the answer, right?
right. Right. That's what
Oh, both
solves
of them the
quadratic-
answer.
so
Both of
let
the
me show you.
answers is different.
So
In fact, one
no,
is
they're
different.
not. No, they're not both the same thing. We factor the quadratic equation so we can solve it easily.
Right.
That's
So the
why we
answer,
factor.
you know, that'll be the answer, right? For that, you just have to go no further and just leave it with x -3 in parentheses and x +3 in parentheses, right?
No, if they ask you to factor it, you're done.
Okay.
If they ask you to find the solutions, you have one more step. You got to find the zeros.
All right.
Okay. So let me show you. Let me prove it to you. Watch this. Let me erase all of this. And we're going to do another problem together. Everyone's going to do a problem together. Yes, pressure bust pipes. That's what I do. I put you under pressure. But watch this. Watch, I'm going to show you something.
So give us one without the X. Give us one with a number.
I will. Well, I'm going to show you something real quick. Once you find a solution, and this is why if you know how to use the calculator and you know how to substitute or store a variable into the calculator, watch this. How can I check my work? Watch this. Whatever my answer is, I should be able to plug into the equation and get 0. Watch this. Let me show you. Why is this not? I'm keep pressing it. There we go. Watch this. +3. 3 store X. Bam. I'm gonna plug in the quadratic equation. If it's correct, if it's a solution, I should get 0. X squared plus 2x minus 15. Did I get 0?
Yes.
Yes. So let's try -5. -5, store x. We're going to plug in the quadratic equation. X squared plus 2x minus 15. Did I get 0?
Yep.
Yes.
So listen to what I just did. The first way we did it algebraically. Okay. So this is how in algebra class, in your college algebra class, this is how they're going to teach you to solve a quadratic equation. What I'm saying to you is, if you understand that they're giving you a quadratic equation and they're giving you the answers, you can just plug them in until you get 0 or whatever's on the other side of that equal sign. And you can solve it quickly.
And they'll let you use the calculator for the factors for this right here, right?
You can listen, you can use the calculator for the entire test except for the first 5. So let me clear this first so you can see it. So when you go back over this video, you'll be able to see exactly what I typed in. You'll be able to see exactly what I typed into the calculator and you can repeat it. Okay. And then we're going to try one together. We're going to try a couple together. What time is it? 7:01. Time goes so fast. So we're going to do 1 or 2 before we leave tonight. Where is my?
Mr. Tinsley,
Yes.
can you please give us a question that is like a question completely, if we are to find the factor or to solve it, how it is done in GED?
Okay. Oops, that's the RLA one. Hold on. I'm going to show you right now. And again, this is exactly, where are you? Where are you? There we go, right there. Oh, that's right. I was helping somebody with something else. Let's go. Study guide. View. Boom. Let's see. Hold on for 1 second. All right. Okay, right there. Okay, so that's one problem. And you look at that, you say, oh my God, I can't factor that. Oh my God, how do I do that? First of all, is this a quadratic equation?
Yes.
Okay, how do you know?
X
Square.
Yep, x squared. So we know it's a quadratic equation. What are they giving you? They are giving you the answers. So instead of you trying to solve it algebraically, what I'm suggesting to you is that you, hold on, let me make this smaller. What I'm suggesting to you to do is you don't have to solve it algebraically. You plug each one of these values in. So for example, x is -1. So I do -1, store x. I press enter and I type this quadratic formula in. 4x squared minus x minus 5. Did I get 0?
Yes.
That means it's a solution. You didn't waste 30 minutes trying to solve that problem.
Mr. Tinsley, is it possible for them to give you the? Is it possible for them to give you the first answer to be correct and the second one wrong? For instance, -1.
Yes. Here's the example right here. -1 is a solution. But if you look at C, they also say it's -1. That's why you have to know a quadratic equation has up to 2 solutions. So you got to plug both of them in. So now I found -1 solution. Now I got to test 5/4. So I'm going to hit ND, 5/4. Get out of my fraction, store x, enter, then type in my quadratic equation. 4x squared minus x minus 5. Oops, that's not it. 4x squared minus x minus 5. Did I get 0?
Yes.
I'm done. This problem, if you tried to factor this and solve this, would literally take you about 7 to 10 minutes to solve it. And I'm gonna do it for you, just so you can see what I'm trying to tell you. If they're giving you the answers, understand what an equation is. That means you must get the same thing on both sides of the equation. So if I plug in -1 and I plug in 5/4, I need to get 0. If it said equal to 9, whatever I plugged in must equal to 9. That's all an equation is. It's equal on both sides. Now, I'm going to show you how you would solve this. And your head is going to be blown. I'm telling you. This is how they want you to do it algebraically. Watch this. First of all, I'm going to identify this as a quadratic equation. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So that means my a is 4, my b is -1, my c is -5. So identifying a, b, and c is very important. But when your a is not 1, let me show you what you would have to do. You have to factor ac, a times c. So a times c is -20. So I have to find a factor pairs of -20. I'm going to show you how difficult. On the exam, this is considered a difficult problem. If you know how to use this calculator, this problem is easy. I'm going to show you how you would have to do it. So 1 and -20, 2 and -10, 4 and -5. Okay, so I go on the other side, -1 and 20, -2 and 10, -4 and 5. Again, what pair is going to give me -1? So -1 is 4 and 5. So when a is not 1, you got to do a whole different ball game. You have to do, so now I got to combine these two to be -x. So 4x squared plus 4x minus 5x minus 5. So if you notice, I took this 4 and this 5 to combine to get -1x, because 4x minus 5x is -1. And then I have to factor them. Look how much work this problem is. So I have to pull out a 4x, pull out a 4x, and I get x plus 1. If I pull out a x plus 1 here, again, I'm going to have -5, and I pull out an x plus 1, right? Now, I didn't even show you this. Okay, in class, well, if you're in algebra class or you're in college algebra or you're in high school algebra, you learn this over 2 weeks. This is a 5 to 10 minute problem. I'm doing it because I know it. I can do it quickly because I know it. So then, since I have x plus 1 as a shared factor, you then can combine these two terms. So I have 4x minus 5 times x plus 1. This is factored, but it's telling you to solve it. So the 0 of x plus 1 is -1. That's easy. This is why they put 2 answers for -1, because most people can get up to this point and get x. One of the values that solve it is x minus 1. But here, this is a little different. Again, you take the opposite of -5, which is +5, and put it over this coefficient 4. Those will be your 2 solutions, 5/4 and -1. Listen, I don't know about you, but that make my brain hurt.
Yeah, my brain's swimming down.
In order for you to be able to do this well, you would have to practice at least 30 to 40 problems over a 1 to 2 week period. What I'm telling you to do is, if you get a quadratic equation like this, you are plugging it into your calculator. Okay, let me maximize this. I don't know if I did it already, but so if you need to go back and look at it, you'll be able to see it.
Right.
That's a whole lot. Let me see, -1, let me say that. And you'll be able to watch the video. But what I'm saying to you is, watch this. Let me clear it again so we can see it again. Okay. You plug each one of these in. Anytime you have, listen, storing a value in this calculator, you're going to have to use that concept on your exam at least 6 to 7 times. Okay, watch this. So say I'm not going to, since we know the answer is A, I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start with B. This is B, C, D. This is A. So I'm going to start with B because I already know the answer is A. So 4/5. So ND, I type in 4/5. You gotta get out of the fraction, store X. Plug it into your quadratic equation. 4x squared minus X minus 5. Do I get 0?
No.
No.
No. So right there, I know my answer is not 4/5. So since I know my answer is not 4/5, I know it can't be B or C, because C has 4/5 and B has 4/5. But I just put 4/5 in, that gets rid of 2. At least I'm down to 2 multiple choice now. Now I'm gonna plug in 1. 1, store X. And I'm gonna type in my quadratic formula, 4x squared minus X minus 5. Did I get 0?
No.
No. So the only answer left, A. Otherwise, listen, let me explain something to you. The quadratic equation, they either want you to solve it by factoring or use the quadratic formula. If they give you the answers, if they ask you to solve it and they give you the answers, plug them in. Okay, now, okay, well, Mr. Tinsley, that's not, what if they give you something like this? So let me do this problem real
So the
quick.
factoring,
Yeah, for factoring. I'm going to give you one for factoring. So you can see there's multiple ways to solve it. Let me show you something. So say if they gave you something like this, right? Say if they said factor. Hold on. Say if they said factor this equation, right? So I got X plus 1 times 4x minus 5. I got X minus 1 times 5x minus 4. X plus 1, 5x minus 4. X minus 1, 4x minus 5. So say we didn't have these. Say this is not the answer. So I'm changing the question a little bit. So say if they said factor, they told you to factor this. Again, it takes too long for you to factor this. It's going to take you too long. But what did I just show you how to do? I showed you how to multiply binomials. So you go immediately to the multiple choice and you start multiplying binomials. So
X squared.
X times 4x is what?
4x squared.
4x squared. X times minus 5x is what?
Negative 5x.
Negative 5x. 1 times 4x is what?
Positive 4x.
Positive 4x. 1 times minus 5 is what?
Negative 5.
Negative 5. So we got 4x squared minus 5x plus 4x minus 5. Do we have any like terms?
Yes. Negative x and 4x.
So negative 5x plus 4x gives you negative x. Bring down your minus 5. You are now done. So listen to what I'm telling you. I'm giving you the tools to be able to solve these equations without doing it algebraically. So in this case, we're not going to factor the quadratic equation. We're going to look at the multiple choice and multiply the binomials to get our answer. This is another guaranteed problem that you're going to have on your exam. Now, another way you could have did it was said, hold on, minus 1 times minus 4 gives you a positive 4. Can't be B, because my last term is minus 5. 1 times minus 4 is negative 4. So it can't be. So right away, you know you got rid of B and C. At least you got down to a 50% chance to get it right. So if you don't know how to factor, use the multiple choice to get your answer. So tonight, just tonight, I gave you 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 guaranteed problems on your exam. Tonight, I gave you 4 to 5 guaranteed problems on your exam. It ain't even no question. You're going to see them. You are going to see them. So you have to be prepared. So here, and I know it might seem like a lot, but when you get something like this, oh, I'm going to send this to you too. I'm gonna send these two to you tonight. So this is, listen, look at all the stuff you have to do to solve a quadratic equation.
Yeah,
Look at this.
That's the question I wanted to ask you.
So I'm gonna send this to you, and I go through step by step how to do it. This is the quadratic formula.
That's the question I wanted to ask you. When do you apply this formula?
Okay, wonderful question. Wonderful question. So remember what I said. If A is equal to 1, try to factor it. Okay, so if A is equal to 1, try to factor it. If A is not equal to 1, use your multiple choice to multiply the binomials.
That'd be x squared. That'd be equal to 1, right?
What you mean x squared equal to 1? What do you mean? I don't
X
know what you mean
means
by
1.
that.
I'm saying x means 1. There was no
No, when A is equal to 1. So it's just x squared or p squared or t squared, whatever. So what I think that was Chris. Was that Chris? That's the question?
Yes, please.
So let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me find that blank page again. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So remember I told you, you have to be ready. You have to be able to identify A, B, and C, right? So for example, that problem was 4x squared minus x minus 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
A is 4, B is -1, C is -5. So what Chris asks is, when do you use the quadratic formula? So for the GED, this is not for math in general. For the GED, the first thing I want you to be able to do, if A is 1, try to factor it. If A is not 1, I want you to use the multiple choice and multiply binomials. If you get a problem like this where they ask you to solve the quadratic formula, you're going to do identify your A, B, and C. You're going to go to your formula sheet. And it says minus B plus or minus B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Well, guess what? We just identified A, B, and C. So minus B would be minus or -1. Plus or minus B squared. So B is -1 squared minus 4 times A, which is 4, times C is -5 over 2 times A, which is 4. This is a 7 to 10 minute problem. I'm telling you. Now, 2 negatives make a positive. So I got +1 plus or minus square root 1 minus 1 squared is 1. -4 times -5 is a positive 20. 20 times 4 is 80, so plus 80. Over 2 times 4 is 8. Right? So then we got +1 plus or minus the square root of 81 over 8. Then we know the square root of 81. Can anybody tell me what's the square root of 81?
9.
9. So we got +1 plus or minus 9 over 8. So remember, or not remember, if you might didn't know, this plus or minus means you have 2 different solutions. So you're going to have 1 plus 9 over 8, and you're going to have 1 minus 9 over 8. So 1 plus 9 is 10 over 8. 1 minus 9 is -8 over 8. 10 over 8 reduces to 5 over 4. And -8 over 8 reduces to -1. So we still got the same answers. But what I want you to do is, again, if you know how to use the calculator, you could plug those in. Because if you got to do this by hand, if you have to do this problem by hand, if you get this and you don't know how to do it, what I would advise you to do is skip it and flag it for review and come back to it once you finish the exam. Now, if you took my advice, now watch this. Watch this. If you took my advice and you used 2 weeks to go through your ebook, remember I told you, I said, listen, I know everybody wants to get this exam and they want it fast, and 2 weeks seem like a long time. If you take 2 weeks to go through that ebook, if it might take you 3 weeks, Watch this. I'm gonna show you something. Watch this. 4 store A. -1 store B.
Negative 5.
-5 store C. Now I'm gonna put my quadratic formula in D minus B plus B squared minus 4AC
Number 2A.
all over 2A.
Is that
This-
you got a
watch
assistant
this.
with you or something?
Look at
like
that. Look at that. 5/4. Stop playing. It took me 45 seconds. Now I go back up. I change that plus to a minus. Watch this. Change that plus to a minus. I press enter. Think of my two solutions. 5/4 and -1.
Oh, you changed
Listen.
the what? To
Because remember, the formula is minus B plus or minus. This calculator, you can't do plus and minus at the same time. So I
Yeah.
did the plus first, and then I changed it to negative. But
okay.
look how fast. Once you know how to store A, B, and C, and you know how to put that quadratic formula in, it doesn't matter what quadratic formula they give you, you can get your answer quickly. Now,
Yeah,
let me
that was nice.
maximize the screen so we can see it. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see everything because that's a lot of typing. You won't. Let me see. There we go. So you have to pause it if you look at this. But again, it still took you less than a minute or less than 2 minutes. You saw how long it took me. Oops, I didn't take a screenshot. You see how long it took me to solve this by hand. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. If you use this, if you go through that ebook for linear equations, for quadratic equations, for system of equations, for proportions, ratio and proportions, and sign numbers in the first 5. If you don't have time to read the whole book, make sure first 5, sign numbers, ratio and proportions, area, volume, linear equations, quadratic equations, system of equations. If you cover those 7 or 8 chapters, that'll give you enough to be able to pass this exam. I'm telling you, I'm just telling you. Now, I've talked to many people for the last week. Oh, Mr. Tinsley, I ain't have time. Listen, I've had people take this test 17 times, 12 times, 21 times. If you tired of taking this exam, you're gonna take 2 to 3 weeks to go through this book. I detail everything that you need to do to use this calculator. If you can't do the whole book, use your GED practice, your GED ready test, and use that to identify what you're going to study and go over in the ebook. But right there, this showing you this quadratic equation and how to do it on the calculator, instead of you spending 5 to 8 minutes, we just did it in under a minute. But it's going to take practice. So I know the book is long. It's 134 pages. So break it down in the lessons. So maybe you only do the first 2 for the first 2 days. You might then take a break for a day, then do 3 and 4, then take a break. You don't have to do all 17 chapters in whatever time. You decide what you want to do.
The book is out?
Say it again.
So your book is out?
My book is what?
Out.
What book that you was working on? Is it ready?
He's talking about
Yeah.
the ebook.
Yeah, the ebook I'm talking about.
You gotta get the ebook.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Because I remember you was
Yeah.
working on another project.
Yeah, I'm working on something else too, but yeah, you know. Yeah. But listen, so let me pause this for a second.